let me make sure I have all that audio set up right. Turn the music down a little more. Test 1, 2. All right, Liz, say something.
I'm saying something. I'm looking. I'm noticing. You're alive.
Sweet. I was turning you up a little bit. Say something again.
You're going live, and I am checking the stuff.
Sweet. All right. Well, welcome everybody to another Friday stream. I hope you're having a good time. Excuse me, would I get a nice drink of coffee? That is not me, by the way. That is Liz being sarcastic about. So this is how you treat me when I have a 4-day fast, and then when I finally enjoy a nice little sip of coffee with coconut milk, I get the slurps in my ear, the sarcastic slurps. In case you guys were wondering who the real monster of Halloween is, it's Liz.
It's always the woman. Go hide in the cup.
I'm not hiding. You can tell the difference because my slurps are petite and adorable, and her slurps.
You mean manly?
Yes, masculine, but her slurps are like too much. They're too much.
Gross.
All right. So we're gonna continue doing some work on the Dreamkeeper's Ascension tabletop roleplay game tonight. I got more creatures to block in. First, let me open the landscape I was doing a couple streams ago because I finished that and I think it came out really pretty. So I want to show you.
Oh, Dave, did you get the... Mamo had some beach animation last week. Did you get that ready, or did you forget?
No, I did get it ready, because that beach animation is
You did?
badass. I'm going to show people that at the top of the stream here, after I show off the background. Look at the background. Actually, let me open up the actual Clip Studio file of the background, because then I can turn the layers on and off, like a freak.
Okay.
Yeah, just a nice starfall forest. We can close this JPEG. But I especially like, because I didn't even have all of this in mind when I designed the backdrop, I liked putting a lot of shadow on this cliff here, coming across. And then, let me actually make this thing smaller so it fits like that. There you go, you can see the layers. And then I also figured there's going to be some of that glowing blue starfall, waterfall stuff off screen, but you can still see the light from it. Which... I know there's like a layer for that. Where did my little slider bar go? Is this all the layers? Oh, there we go. They're all nested in here. But yeah, see, you can turn off these highlights and then it's like, oh, it looks okay, but then you turn them on and it's like, ooh, ah. So just another setting that we're using to make the Ascension lore book especially beautiful. And now before I get into making these creatures colorful, there's been some more fun artwork from Mamo. He did an additional animation, if you can believe it. And I'm going to share that in a second here as soon as I hit the right buttons. Let me also pause the music, because there's actually audio to this. I have been told that it uses the audio from a Pokemon episode, so see if you can recognize it.
I thought you guys were going to wait for me by the snack bar. How's the water? What's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that?
It's just weird to see you looking like a girl.
Ah! Well, see how weird this looks. Ah! I thought you guys were going to wait for me.
Right. And that was, it's really cool seeing more of this animation popping out. I don't know, I'm a sucker for cartoons. And I know that AI might not be like totally perfect in terms of a tool that I can use to get precisely what I want, but it's still cool seeing the characters come to life. So Mammoth, thank you very much for making that. That was fun. It was especially, to me, it was impressive that the animation actually did the lip sync with the characters right alongside of it. And I know there's tools now that are actually able to project animation out from an illustrated still. And that, to me, as soon as we can start actually using like explicit exact pieces of art in these things and start like telling it what to do with that art, to me that is getting like closer and closer to like animation tools that we can really use and have a fun time with. So thank you to and actually, speaking of Mamo, I'm not sure if we mentioned last stream. I think we did, but it's a good time to remind everyone that Mamo is currently living in a war zone, and it's no fun, and things are getting bad. And so we're doing a fundraiser to help him out, to try to save him and his adorable cats. So if you do have, and I'm not joking about adorable cats. Let me find this picture of adorable cats.
Apparently, he spent many hours syncing it manually.
Oh, you synced it manually? No shit. Here I was thinking that it was just some like, oh, AI can just do that by magic? That's pretty cool. Apparently no, it does not just do that by magic. So Mamo, thank you for the technological innovation and the elbow grease that you put into that. It came out really fun. I love it. And as you guys can see, even if Mamo does not look like an adorable cat, he has cats that look like adorable cats. So if you're not motivated to help someone in the Dreamkeepers community that really needs help, maybe you'll be motivated to help these really, really pretty cats. Because, again, they're...
I bet he could animate an adorable cat.
Maybe. Yeah, we can...
Actually, you know what we could do is take the cat picture, put it in AI, and then make it move around.
That sounds like a top priority. But if you guys do back Mamo, you can do it on the... Actually, let me get the links in the chat. Liz, do you have the links handy? Or I could grab them real quick.
I don't. I'm doing other link work here.
All right, I'll get it. There are links where you can donate and help Mamo out. I'm putting it into the Picardo chat. So if you're watching on other platforms, check our Picardo. This is also on our X account. But the thing is, if you donate to Mamo to help him and help rescue him, we are giving you store credit to match your donation. So that's Vivid's part in this, is we're matching your donation. So if you can help him out, do anything to help keep him and his cats alive and well in a literal war zone, we'd appreciate it very much. And you can take the exact amount you donate and turn around and you can buy stuff from the stores. It counts in the safe it counts in the safe for work and the not safe for work store both.
And if you're having any issues when you try to do it, just email us at vivid@vividpub.com, and we will take care of you and make everything work out.
Yeah, so, oh man, well, you're just making a lot of cool stuff. You're giving people a lot of help in the community when they're asking about it, when they're curious about it. So, I don't know, you're just contributing a lot. You've got a very big heart. You're very generous, and I hope people help you out because you're in a rough spot. And I'm just happy that we can try to facilitate that, because I know people out there, like, most people have like good hearts. If they can help someone out that's in trouble, they do want to. And yeah, I don't know. I'm glad if we can try to facilitate some things going a little better than they have been. It might not be like, a total, like, oh, now every problem in the world has totally concluded. It probably won't do that, but I just
problem is over.
Yeah, I just want to do what we can, so hopefully this helps out. All right, and on that note, get the music back up. I'll probably try it. I should probably remind people like halfway through the stream or towards the end, because there's always like, some people chill in the stream for a little while, go do other stuff. Some people are like, oh, he's been streaming, let me see what's up. And I've also been, what else has been going on today? I have been working on a Volume 6 page on the side, because I always like to do that, and I enjoy Volume 6 work quite a lot.
Hopefully we do some pencils on Monday. I would like to see that.
Yeah. It's been a while since I streamed pencils, so, I mean, this Volume 6 page, I'm probably going to finish it tonight, so I don't know if it'll be ready by Monday.
Oh, I know you are.
But we'll see. There's
you
always...
do Prelude. There's more.
Yeah, there is. I should be getting a Prelude in the pipeline, too, because I've just done a couple Volume 6 pages, so it's probably around time to get a Prelude in the mix. But, I don't know. I'm just having a good time. Doing work on our tabletop roleplay game, doing work on Dreamkeepers Volume 6, probably Prelude pretty soon. Can't complain, plus I'm very happy because I ate food today. Not everyone knows that, like, well, I don't know, if you're listening to the stream often, you probably know I'm sort of like a health nut, I guess. But I did a fast for myself, because it's been a while.
Instead of record fast?
Yeah, I like to do maybe like 3 or 4 a year, roughly quarterly. I don't want to like overdo it because I don't want to get a nutrient deficiency. But I did this one is, I think, the longest one I've done. I went straight 100 hours. The last time I did a 4-day fast, the last day I kind of cheated and started giving myself broth. But this time I just held steady through the whole thing, and there we go, 100-hour fast. So that was fun. It's interesting how it makes you feel so much different. Like, once you get over I'm hungry, I have an appetite. Usually getting some matcha, some green tea, some apple cider vinegar will sort of like go ahead and like suppress those cravings, and then you just get over it. But then after you're like, especially after like the 48-hour mark, there's this really interesting, clean, clear energy burn that kicks in. That just feels kind of great, which is fun until you're trying to sleep, and then you're just like laying there like, wow, I just have so much energy, and I'm not falling asleep. So I guess that might be a slight downside. But that's when your body starts to realize, oh, you know what? If you're not going to give me any energy, I'll just make it myself. And then it starts typically, burning fat stores and going into ketosis, and you just get a flood of energy from that. Excuse me, I burped.
You have been eating.
Yes, I have. But still, like,
Very proud.
as much as that like energy burn is fun, 4 days in, it felt really nice to eat, get some broth, and then continue eating even more stuff. So, in case I'm being a bad influence on people, if you're ever like, maybe I should go on a fast sometime, I would say start small. Start on maybe a 16-hour fast where you just basically skip a meal after an 8-hour night of sleep. So start small, work your way up, and if you are in a longer fast, the stuff that I do is I make sure to get plenty of nice mineral-rich Himalayan sea salt in the fast, because if you run low on electrolytes, then you're probably going to feel pretty cruddy. So I'm always like, I literally have a little salt lick where I'll just lick salt and stay mineralized during the fast. Get plenty of water, and then, tea, coffee, a little bit of diluted apple cider vinegar, just 0-calorie stuff. So stay hydrated, stay mineralized. And beyond that, it's actually pretty easy. It's just like, just don't worry about eating for a couple days, and there you go, you did a fast.
Just write some stuff down, and then you're a writer.
That's how it works. Hey, Hazen, how's it going?
And then you should give yourself an award, and you're an award-winning writer.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
We should just do that from now on.
I mean, it's not the worst idea in the world. Most people don't even like. I guarantee you, like we won that Independent Publisher of the Year award for Volume 1. Probably no one has ever looked up that company. I don't even know if that company exists anymore, but still, now it's an award-winning book forever. We could just have like, the Vivid Book of the Year award, and this year's award goes to the book we published this year. Stick an award like little logo on the cover, and it's as legitimate.
Plot twist: it was you that owned the company.
Plot twist: it was. Honestly, I feel like it's as legitimate as any other award systems at this point. Like, have you seen the stuff that gets Eisners lately? It is done by it's done by a little like cliquish circle jerk like group of curators that just decides who are they best friends with this year, and bam, those are the people that get nominated for Eisners.
Oh yeah, I think that was kind of the thing. The Comicsgate, the Comicsgate thing. I think that was kind of like what they were sort of against, like people getting into these weird like cliques of things and trying to keep like all the other creators out or from winning awards or anything like that. And that I don't think they exactly did that, but like I think that was kind of like what they set out, and that's why so many people liked Comicsgate when it first was sort of a thing.
Yeah, I can understand like being like, I don't like this and I don't think that's how it should be done. I'm sort of in the same boat, but I do think it's a sort of a strategic error to define who you are and what you do and why you're doing it. Like, define everything based on what you dislike. Because as tempting as that is, then then you don't have your actual own identity. You're always just reacting to what someone else is, and it doesn't really lead anywhere.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't think you should some people can do that though, you know, like I can't think of someone like offhand, but like you can decide like I don't want to be like these people.
Yeah.
And then you can go and make things with the mythos about your creation that it's going to be something different from you know what these other people over here are doing, right? And you can still make really great things doing that, but a lot of the time, like your creation becomes just sort of like a ticket booth for whatever cause that you're sort of you know, I don't want to say pandering, that's not the right word. I don't know, championing, is that,
Yeah,
does that sound right?
That sounds fine.
Whatever you're anti, you know. And I think that a lot of people get too caught up in that, and they just see dollar signs when they have that going on. And to be fair, there are a lot of dollar signs when you take up some crusade like that, and you don't have to make things good, so it's a lot less work to just make terrible crap and just shovel it out into the trough for all the pay pigs to come eat.
Yeah, but that's no fun. Like, that's like, because, like, I guess if you're just being sort of like business minded about it and you're like, oh, I'm just here to make money, that's it, like, then there you go, that'll do the job. But like I like legitimately I want to make cool stuff that I think, oh, this is so cool. So money is a means to an end. To me, it is not the goal. It is a necessary thing to maintain a business, but it's not the point of a business.
I think for a lot of people, money is the point. Well, you know, of course, if you're selling, like I'm selling sink faucets, of course, to make money. No one is passionate about sink faucets. Give me a break.
Yeah.
But if you're creating something that's creative, like I don't know, a comic book or a movie or a video game, it would seem like it would stand to reason that there's probably more inspiration behind that than there would be like a kitchen, you know, piping thing,
Yeah.
a plumbing
I'm pretty sure.
thing.
I'm pretty sure the car dealerships are about money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like something like that. They're not creating the ultimate car. They're just selling used cars that someone else sold to them for like they really undercut the price of.
I guess that's why artistic businesses, it's sort of combining the necessity of a business with like, well, art is it's like different from those other commodities because it's about creative expression and entertainment. And I mean, it is still fulfilling a need for customers, otherwise it's not going to be a viable business at all. But there's like another angle where it's not just about, you know, it could be more than that. Oh, it got dark. I'm going to close the curtain and be back in a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't do that for you. I'm watching chat
Womp womp.
like a mook.
Yeah, Mamo's talking about fasting. Yeah, fasting, strangely, Dave got me on doing fasting for a while, and I was like, I don't think this is going to do anything. I think this is bullshit. And I did it. And I was more focused when I did it. Like I noticed changes in my body. And yeah, after like 2 days of fasting, it gets like super easy to just like not really even want food. Your human bodies are really designed to starve. We're really designed to sort of live under conditions where food is very difficult to find, or good high calorie food like meat and stuff is really difficult to get.
Yeah.
And that's how we've survived over past like things like Neanderthals and stuff. I don't think they were really designed that way.
I don't think it's even like, I don't know. I don't even know if it's like, oh, humans were designed for the purpose of It's just like, well, for hundreds of thousands of years, did humans have 3 square meals a day reliably? No, they did not. In fact, there was a very good chance that they'd go for days and days and days with no food at all. So I think that their bodies just became optimized to integrate that into like their health, because, you know, evolution is pretty incredible when it comes to adapting to an environment. So for hundreds of thousands of years, our environment was scarcity of calories. So I think that our bodies are just adapted to periodically undergo scarcity of calories, and that's when our bodies sort of, it's like, oh, I don't have to blow all of this energy on metabolizing food. I can use this energy on something else. Well, I guess then I'm going to like go ahead and recycle some cells and repair some damage, and I'm going to like reduce the oxidative load on a bunch of shit. And so that's like when the body has spare time, like spare energy to do other things. And it also gives you a bunch of energy, because it's like, oh, so we're not getting any food. That means we really need to get food, so we're going to go ahead and give you a bunch of energy and clarity, and also you don't really need to sleep until we get more food. So you need to be like in super mode until we get calories again, bud. And I think that's partially why you get so much energy during a fast, to the point where sometimes it's hard to sleep, actually.
People tend to think of things like that, like, oh, everyone just evolved over time to have that, and your body's adapted to that stuff. But the other sort of school of thought of evolution is the Darwinian thing, or I think this is what they refer to as the Darwinian theory of evolution, where it's what survives, like natural selection. So when humans appeared, however you think they appeared, there were very likely a large group of humans that did not have very calorie efficient bodies. Those ones died. They could not get enough food. What survived was the people who could eat a handful of nuts and berries, and they could survive, not be comfortable or happy or whatever, but they could survive off that for a day. Neanderthals had much larger bodies. It's thought that they weren't able to. I'm not like a anthropology expert or anything. I could be getting some of this wrong, but it's thought that they had bigger bodies and bigger brains, so they had to eat more food, and their bodies were not nearly as when in terms of scale, as calorie efficient as human bodies were. Plus, there were like 1 million humans at one point, and there were like a couple thousand Neanderthals. They didn't Zerg rush the planet like we did. So that is how we humans took over everything. Plus, we were little murder demons, and we just killed everything. We still do that a lot.
I heard some of them got a little frisky with those Neanderthals, though.
Yeah, there's some
people
that got it on with Neanderthals.
Stories.
There's people alive today with like 1-2% Neanderthal DNA.
There were some R34 of Neanderthals in the day.
I'm sure the Primal Show has some Rule 34 if you want to go check that out.
What's the Primal Show?
Actually, don't go check that out. It's the Gendy Tartakovsky thing.
Is it the animated dinosaurs? Oh.
Yeah, it's got the animated dinosaurs. It's actually really good. It's I'll say this, it doesn't pull any punches. So if you watch that show, be ready for like, oh, the kids are running from a big dinosaur. They're obviously going to survive. What the hell is that? Oh, hold on, they're cleaning.
That's his code word for UFOs.
Can you hear that? Can you hear the...
I can hear that, yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. I'll be right back.
Cleaning is his code word for UFOs. There's alien activity going on. Speaking of which, I think the most fun version of where did humans come from? I think the most fun version is the stuff about, oh, they were from Mars and alien species and genetic engineering. I think that's like the most fun. If you're talking about like I'm not saying plausible, I'm saying what's the most fun story about where people came from. I think that's a cool one.
Oh, that aliens dropped us off on here to see what would happen for giggles?
Not so much that. More, I think the story is that, oh, they were intelligent life on Mars, but they realized that their world had a time limit on it, whether you want to say it's because of nukes or they just naturally lost their magnetic field and their atmosphere was dissipating. So they're like, oh, we got to go somewhere else. What about this other planet? This planet looks like we could survive on there, but we're going to have to tweak our DNA a little bit because we can't be all... we got to deal with heavier gravity there. And then, so they basically took, I don't know, modified themselves or modified apes or mixed themselves with indigenous apes, and then bam, humans.
This definitely sounds like a fanfic.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fanfic about humans. I'm not a geneticist. I don't really know that much about how DNA works or anything, but I have heard some people saying that, oh, if you look into like the structure of the human genome, there are regions that indicate like that the only way it could have developed in that way was if it was genetically modified. Like, it couldn't have developed along natural lines and achieved those structures. Which, I don't know if that's accurate, but like I said, it's fun.
So you're saying we came from Mars and now we're trying to go back there?
Yeah, full circle.
Mm.
Well, I can't imagine people living on Mars long term, because it has like what, a third of our gravity, something like that. There's just not
No
that much
water.
gravity. If you think about the health impact on being in a low gravity environment, it's gonna do some gnarly stuff over time. You don't necessarily want
We
it.
heard about the people, I think they're in California, trying to mimic life on Mars to prepare.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you can mimic having low calories or being in a little biodome and all kinds of stuff, but you can't necessarily mimic the low gravity. You also, I'm also not a Mars expert. I just like my fun little conspiratards theories because I think they're entertaining. But if someone was like, "Hey Dave, do you want to move to Mars?" I would have to consider looking into the health effects of being in a low gravity environment for extended periods of time. I would also look into okay, how much radiation does Mars get? Because we have a magnetic field around our planet, and the magnetic field of Earth is what deflects most of the radiation. That, and we've got a nice thick atmosphere. I don't know how thick of an atmosphere Mars has. I don't think they have much of a magnetic field, so they might just be getting blasted with cosmic radiation all the time. That's probably not great for your health either.
But you'd be good at fasting on there.
Yeah, I'd be the best at being hungry on Mars. That would be my specialty. It's like, is there someone here that's really hungry? That's me! They needed a guy who was gonna be hungry, and David fit the bill.
You can be the crazy old hungry guy who, you could be the first cannibal on Mars who's eating all the spacesuits.
I want to be the McGucket of Mars.
Yeah.
We just finished watching Gravity Falls recently, and I think that's one of my favorite cartoons of all time. Magnificent show. Very well done. Great story, satisfying conclusion. The writing was spot on. Just no complaints. I would not change a thing about it. They did a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like they cleaned up Hazen.
Yeah, he's got to confer with his alien overlords. He'll be back.
You keep on changing the colors on this critter. Are you trying to figure it out?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want, and I think I settled on what I like. Originally, I made him green because that was sort of in line with the Manacales and the Carricks. But then I was like, no,
Yeah,
he looks a little more elegant. I'm not sure if green is right for him. So now I've got him like this sort of whitish blonde nature-looking stag. And I kind of like that. I think I'm going to settle on that whitish blonde look.
I have heard you have a lot of green beasts.
Yeah, exactly. Carricks, Manacales, and Gnosis are all sort of variants of green tones. So that's why I think the Stag Walker needed to be a little something different. And now I'm doing this big purple goober thing.
What's his name? Goober?
I know I wrote it down. So I just have to reference my thing because I didn't actually memorize his name. But he's got an interesting life cycle with these sort of Keever, Sharky type guys. You're listening to Radio Liz. Do 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 do. Lyrical melodic humming, 24 hours a day. Someone's asking, cool, what did you think of the unicorns? If you're talking about the Gravity Falls unicorns, I thought they were hilarious.
Yeah, Gravity Falls.
I thought they were really funny. I thought the really stuck-up unicorn that was always saying everybody wasn't pure enough, I thought that was really cute.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, I thought they were, like, effectively, appealingly sarcastic, and I liked it. I really liked Bill Cipher as an enemy. I thought he was just awesome.
Any news on what's in the lead for the October Sketch of the Month poll? Was that decided?
I believe October Sketch of the Month has been decided, and the winner was Nama creating her own religion. I think that involves worshiping Nama, and then Aura like sputtering and fuming off to the side because Aura's like, "You're not a god," and Nama's like, "Well, I guess I am, and according to my religion, I am." So that is the Sketch of the Month, which should be getting drawn up pretty soon. And the winner for the fan art of October, it was Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank. So we've got Nama as a god, and Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank, both in the works.
Yep. Your comic reminds us of a mix between Avatar, Last Airbender, and Star Wars, but with more World War I elements and World War II elements added in later on.
Oh, thank you. I will consider that high praise. I really enjoyed Avatar: The Last Airbender when we watched that series. It's been a while, but it was fun. It was a fun one. I do think we're...
Where do we sign up for Nama's religion?
Where do we sign up for Nama's religion? Patreon.com/Dreamkeepers. We should start branding the tiers as like priesthood, the priesthood of Nama. This is a big old creature that doesn't have that many colors, so it does need a gradient on the main part of the body, I think.
Why?
Because
Make it more difficult?
no, because it makes it harder for you, and it looks cool. And it makes it harder.
Challenging me.
Making challenges for this. It's okay. It's a subtle gradient. You'll love it.
Oh, good. So it's really hard to get those colors off. That's lovely. Get the brush right.
I'll make a swatch sheet, Mom. Yeah, there we go. That's what that thing looks like. Got it. There's kids screaming and being murdered in blood outside your window? You should call the police.
Should probably close the window.
Or you could go full old man, like, get off my property! Like, you damn kids, when are you gonna shut up and stop? Although, honestly, when I hear kids screaming outside, I'm kind of like, hey, they're not on a device or a tablet or a screen. They're running around outside. That's kind of, I think that's probably good for kids.
You could go out there and scream with them. Join them.
Of course, the ultimate solution is the water balloon cannon. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to harvesting the November ideas. It's always fun seeing what you guys come up with.
Ah, wholesome. It's nice to get a range.
Yeah, I kind of like to, I mean, we have, sometimes we do different balances, but generally it's like if we haven't done something saucy in a while, I'll try to be like, okay, let's get something a little fan servicey in the mix, and then let's get something a little more, like, cute in the mix, and maybe something a little more, like, lore-based in the mix. I don't know, I like to try to give the voters Sort of like a solid range of possibilities to choose from. Yeah, I like these whale creatures a lot, actually.
Okay, I think the hall robots are gone now.
I wonder if it was one of those like chibi anime ones with the faces say like hello.
Oh, those robots
No,
that talk, like the waiter robots?
the waiter
Yeah.
ones. I've seen those here, but like the one out there is like this big. It's like half the size, half the height of one of those, and then it just goes through the halls and just cleans like, and sometimes pulls carpet off the joists of the floor. And then it
That's not
like
fun.
because it has like either it has so much suction or it has like it's like not it's broken or something. I don't it's ripped up carpet off the floor like twice, and then it just runs around saying something in Chinese. I don't know what.
It sounds sort of like something from a horror movie.
It sounds like something from a horror movie, like when it's right
It
in
goes
front
down
of you
the
as well.
hallway and like takes up a whole hallway. When it goes down, there's no escaping it.
It goes down like a whole hallway, and then like it actually like every once in a while will like if your door is open or something, like sometimes like during the week they'll request you leave your door open, and the robot, if you let it in, it will come in and like clean the carpet or clean the hardwood, not hardwood, what is it called, like the plastic stuff.
Linoleum, I think.
Linoleum. It will come in and clean that stuff in the bathroom, and then like the concrete stuff that they have for the like the weird smooth concrete stuff they have for the floor.
Yeah.
It'll just scrub all that. It does. It like mops stuff too, but I don't think it'll vacuum stuff, but the vacuuming is like it knows like to be gentler on that because there's not like a thing to suck stuff out of. It's just trying to pull stuff like off of a surface, I guess. So it's not as loud when it comes in, but you still don't really want it in there if you're doing something.
The ripping up the carpet thing reminds me of a video I saw of I don't know if it was an influencer or what, but they got one of those robots, like one of the household helper robots, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna see how helpful this thing is, and they tried to have it do stuff, and like they tried to have it cook for them, and it just like immediately like would take the frying pan and basically like fumble it onto the floor and start like slipping and falling all over the place because it was slippery because of all the oil and food and shit on the floor.
They compared it to a drunk toddler, and then it like broke a mirror and broke a door.
Yeah, it was like
these like the Elon Musk robots.
I don't think
Kinda.
this was a Tesla. I think it was a different brand, but it was one of those like humanoid type robots. Although when you saw it in the video in someone's house, it was like, oh, this thing is the size of a hobbit. This is like 4 feet tall. It's not that. It's a small little robot. But still, it was just like spurging out and running around, and like every time they tried to get it to do something just super simple, super basic, like, you know, a 5-year-old, you could tell a 5-year-old, hey, watch this frying pan and make sure it doesn't spill, and that a 5-year-old, most of them could do that. This robot, immediately it's on the floor. Just
I'm pretty like sure I could cook eggs and stuff when I was like 4 or 5. Yeah. Not hard to do. A child literally could do it.
what I want is
heard,
I want a horror movie about one of these living robots because I feel like there's so much potential for like dystopian sci-fi stuff to come out of that.
I'll mail you one. Yeah. You can have this one. I hate this thing, but I heard someone in the chat saying that there was like I don't know, like more people lately, like maybe more than usual. I don't know. I can't remember what was said. I don't want to scroll up either and try to find it, but somebody said something about like people were like shitting on them on Twitter or something for like posting like AI stuff or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's too
What
bad.
were people saying about that?
Well, I mean, there's always going to be like,
Oh, there were just some mean comments on Twitter in general.
well, I mean, that's always there's going to
Oh,
be.
not like towards a certain person or something.
I don't know. We had somebody say you AI and then block us immediately. And it was just because Mammal replied to something we did, and then the guy went after us. And
Yeah,
I
probably not
don't
a
know.
good fan to have anyway.
I don't
The way
think
I
they're a
look at
fan.
that.
Like I think it's fine for everybody to decide, internally, oh, I like this sort of thing, I don't like that sort of thing. I want to see more of this, I want to see less of that. I'm not going to sit here and tell people they have to like something or not. However, as soon as somebody is making a public statement on social media, they're not just curating their own desired personal taste. They are making a statement that is intended to get attention on them. So at that point, it is public, it is performative, and if someone is like shitting on other people creating, it's like it doesn't have to be their cup of tea, but if they're just like aggressively shitting on someone else in public to try to elevate their own social status or get attention on themselves publicly in some way, that's kind of like exactly the type of person that I'm grateful is not in our readership. Like, we've got a really, really good community. It's people that are supportive of each other. They're kind of awesome. It's got a great vibe in the Discord, and that sort of like finger pointing, cancel-y, like crabs in a bucket
Like
mentality.
negative hate.
Yeah, that's exactly what we don't have, and I'm grateful we don't have it. So if those people just kind of self-select themselves out, then I think they're doing everybody a favor, and I'm pretty grateful for that.
Yeah, it seemed like I think that was one of the reasons the old Discord got nuked for Dreamkeepers, because there was so much of that there. Just people who did not like the Dreamkeepers, did not like Dave and Liz. Like, what are you even doing here then?
Well, they're doing something, but it's not something that's related to anything that we're interested in. So, so that's that.
Yeah. So weird.
I mean, it's an ecosystem, right? It is an ecosystem of people that try to get attention by seeing how negative they can be and how hard they can adhere to current thing. It's the same thing as like back in the Middle Ages with like people competing to see who can be the most Christian, and if you're not Christian enough, maybe we'll burn you at the stake. It's the exact same psychological phenomenon. So it's human nature, right? It's not like this is new. There's nothing new under the sun. But that's just not what we're into over here.
I don't think that people are into that most anywhere. But I don't know. People who are constantly talking like that about AI, they sometimes they just act like they can always tell the difference, and it's been proven that they can't.
Yeah.
But like, speaking of AI, the Pony Diffusion people released version 7. Well, I say released. They have it on, I think, Civet AI. You can use it on the website of Civet AI. I don't think you can download the model yet. They say that in a couple days or like a week or something that you'll be able to do that. But if you don't know what Pony Diffusion is, it is the version 6 of Pony Diffusion is what revolutionized people being able to make like 2D art AI generations that looked good. So if you ever saw 2 or 3 years ago really good, sometimes like anime accurate B&A Michiru pictures, stuff like that, or you saw like actually good, look like someone had drawn it type pictures of different like furry things or anime things or My Little Pony things, that was almost always because of Pony Diffusion, the version 6 of Pony Diffusion. So they were, for years they have told people we're working on a version 7. When 7 comes out, it's gonna be good. You guys are gonna like it. And then they come out with 7, and it's total crap.
What, really?
And apparently, you can't make porn with it. You can they said something in the article. I actually read the whole article they wrote about it, about like using it and stuff. And I tried to use it for a little bit, but it wasn't very good. And when I looked at all the things other people had generated, none of them were pretty good. So I said, well, this must just not be good. But the thing they said was they had removed all artist tags, not just artists who opted out, but they just decided to do away with artist tags altogether. Now, when I do AI generations myself, it's usually for some kind of concept thing for like someone I'm doing some sort of job for. But the artist tag things, I guess, aren't so important to me. But a lot of people were complaining about that, and they were responding to people with this, like, making fun of them, basically. Oh, I'm so glad people are still angry that artist tags have been removed. And then, like, they took out all the stuff that lets you do, like, not safe for work things with the model.
Yeah, I'm
which
not
is what
an
most people generate.
Yeah, I'm not a big expert on stuff, but I think if there's an emerging technology, generally a lot of times it's driven. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of technology generation is driven by pretty primal stuff, like either military applications or pornography. So if you rule one of those things out, or rule both of those things out, then you're kind of removing some of the base human instinctual drive that could fuel the furtherance of that technology. And that might not sound pretty. People might be like, oh, well, the military is bad and pornography is bad for people too. It's like, okay, maybe, but if you remove the ability for humans to like engage in any of these like motivations in relation to this technology, then you are like critically reducing a lot of the motivation for people to engage with this technology. So that's going to have ramifications on how much use the technology gets, and therefore whether it actually does continue to go forward.
Okay.
Well, it's especially.
We have a question. Dave, what is the mass of the largest mammal in this picture?
That's a good question.
Can it beat a blue whale?
Can it beat a blue whale? I will say, as long as it has enough watermelons on hand, as long as it does have enough watermelons, yes, it can beat a blue whale. It throws the watermelons at the blue whale until the blue whale dies.
No, it's at YouTube. Come on. And then we need to know if porn is illegal in China. China has a lot of weird rules.
Oh,
on
yes, absolutely it is. Yeah. Porn is, I mean, it's illegal the way like marijuana is illegal in a lot of places, but here it's, like, people still obviously probably consume it. I don't, of course, because I'm there, but it's, people still talk about it and stuff and see it online, but like the whole internet is on lockdown here. It's not really like you have to basically use a VPN. Of course, you would never do that, but like some people talk about using them to access things like Twitter and stuff like that. So that if you get a VPN, you could probably access a lot of illegal things. But like it's so serious here. They'll put people in jail just for like looking at porn and stuff. It's crazy.
In jail for looking at porn? That seems a little excessive.
Yeah, they'll put you in jail for that. And like there was a guy here that was he went, I saw him at that movie theater and a couple other like what they call them, expat places. They're people who are expatriated from their company and choose to live in China, which some people do, believe it or not. They come here and they have all these places that sort of cater to for lack of a better term, white people.
Mm-hmm.
They have American flags and stuff that like European things and stuff like that here in some of these places, and they play movies in English and stuff. And if you go to these places, usually the staff there speak really, most people who work at places here speak English unless they're very old. Whether they will speak English to you or not is a different story, but most of them will speak. Most of them can and will, uh, somewhat. But the people at the expat places, they do. But anyway, this guy, he wasn't from Amsterdam, but I think he was from the Netherlands, and the police will just come around like at a bar in the middle of, like, not the middle of the night, but like if you're out drinking, like they like, for instance, pornography is illegal but prostitution is not. Anyway, the
Okay.
yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to shape here culture wise with what they're litigating, but or not legislating. But we were at a bar and the police came by, and this has happened more than once, but the police came by and they said, "Hey, everyone, we need you to get up and we're going to do a drug test." And they'll swab your mouth, and sometimes they will make you pee in like a cup or something, and they'll test it like there. And they swabbed a guy's mouth, and he had just gotten there like a week before or something, and he had like a trace amount of marijuana in his system.
Mm-hmm.
And he had no marijuana on him. He had not consumed any since he had come into China. But he said, yeah, that's probably where I had like an edible or I smoked or something when I was in the Netherlands. And as soon as he said that, they turned him around, they put him in handcuffs, and they took him away. And we didn't hear from him for like a month. And what happened was they took him to jail and they deported him, but he didn't have like a way to get like, to Netherlands.
Yeah.
So he had to wait until someone because he had not been paid yet. He had to wait until someone had sent him money so he could go home from being in China where he was there for a job, because he smoked marijuana or ate an edible or something while he was in the Netherlands. They arrested him and put him in jail until he could be deported.
That seems a little excessive.
That seems crazy to, I would think, most people. Yeah.
Now
I would think most people would say that's totally crazy, especially since his job, he didn't drive while he was here. No, but God help you if you try to drive here. But he didn't drive while he was here. His job was not like operating machinery or anything. He could, there are people who do drugs here, but they don't go out. Like, you can't go out at night and stuff because that will happen. The police will just come and do a drug test while you're drinking alcohol, believe it or not. Yeah. So lots of things are illegal in China. And when they're illegal, they're super fucking illegal. And if you break the law here, it's not like a matter of, oh, it's your first offense, you're a foreigner, you can, you will have to pay this fine or something. Like, they will remove you from their country most of the time. That's how they will handle it.
I question like why. Like, I can understand a country, right, being like really strict where it's like, oh, you've been doing meth, then you're zero tolerance, you're out of here. Like, some drugs will like destroy a neighborhood. Like, they can just like, it's like dropping a bomb on the neighborhood, but slower. Some drugs are really, really bad, and I can understand why it would be literally against the law to put it in your body because it degrades the entire fabric of a civilization. However, I'm not a big expert on drugs, but I get the impression marijuana is not really one of those drugs. I feel like it seems like it's a little more benign than alcohol. I just don't understand, like, I guess in America there's sort of like a tradition of like some people being like, oh, we don't want marijuana to get off the ground, we don't want hemp to get off the ground because a bunch of tobacco farmers have a lot of money and we want to make sure people are using tobacco and not hemp, so we're gonna outlaw it. So I don't know if that's accurate, but I've heard that story go around, and I could understand if that's how things kicked off in America. But then why would other countries be aggressively outlawing marijuana like that? It just seems like, if anything, marijuana, it seems like it just kind of like causes people to be a little more relaxed and less likely to go out and riot or murder people. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe reefer madness is the true state of it.
Somewhat, yeah. I don't know. Like, it's It's tough to describe. It's tough to describe a lot of this while I'm here because you know a lot of people.
Yeah, if you need to change the
I don't
topic,
know.
we
Yeah.
can do that. I don't want to be like, hey, talk
But
about
no,
illegal
it's fine.
drugs
Yeah,
and-
you can say whatever you want, but like it's I don't know. I'm here for work, and work here is taking a lot longer than I wanted it to take, and because of that, uh, a lot of the work I was doing freelance and stuff before that is taking a lot longer because what I'm doing here absolutely wears me out mentally by the time I leave every day. But uh, it's a little bit strange, and I'll say that people have. You say marijuana is one of those drugs that doesn't really you destroy communities and things, and I tend to agree with that.
As far as I know, I'm not like the drug expert over here.
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure there's statistics on both sides of that prove both things, that it isn't and isn't a bioweapon type drug. But uh, the jury's out on whether or not that is bad. Anything outside of moderation is bad. You could say alcohol is a society destroyer if it, if
Sure.
you have a lot of alcoholics. But
I mean, you could say
it's
the same thing about,
inarguable.
you could say that about sugar, like refined sugar. You could actually make a really
You can say that about sugar.
You can make a really
and
solid
seed oils,
argument
yeah.
for it.
So Dave, we want to know what you're drawing. What are you drawing?
Oh, I've transitioned from coloring in creatures to I'm gonna shade in some Starfall Peaks for the lore book now because I got these Starfall Peaks ready to rock.
And Hazen, do you miss the States?
Peaks. Do I miss the States? I've never been to the States, so no. Don't miss them. I guess I could miss them. And what is that? What is that word when you were missing a place, like a situation or something you've never been to?
It's not deja vu. What
It's
is
like, no, it's not deja vu. It's like Sartor or Sonder. Sonder. That's it. Yeah. Yes, I have Sonder for the States, the American States.
I've never heard of that word, Sonder.
I never heard of it either. Someone here told me about. They said like, yeah, there's like a word in English for like when you have like a longing or like a you miss something you've never been to or you've never been in, and or you're homesick for like a place you don't know exists or something.
Yeah.
And there's like a term that was coined for that at some point. It's called Sonder. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. Get some lines on here.
Sonder, what? No, I think it's spelled with an O. S-O-N. D-E-R. Yeah. Never been there, but I am. Oh yeah, Mamo. I bet you are.
We'll all meet at
Life
an
with
IHOP
Louis.
somewhere.
Life with Louis. That's what made
is
you
Life
want to
with
move to
Louis?
the States.
What is life with Louis?
That was a cartoon.
It's this
I remember the
Yeah,
title.
it was an old Fox Kids cartoon with Louis Anderson playing like a little boy.
Yeah. It struck me as very similar to Bobby's World. I don't think I ever really got into watching it, but it seemed like it was in that vein of cartoons.
It was like a little bit crazier than Bobby's World. I think like his dad was like a Vietnam vet, and there was like an episode about him having like a flashback to Vietnam or something.
Is that one of those cartoons where they give a stand-up comedian a whole show and he's a child?
Yeah. No, that was like a thing they did in America in the 90s. They would give comedians shows. All we had here was the troll, Hugo the Troll. Did any other Europeans remember Hugo the Troll?
Hugo the Troll.
Yeah, it was like this little interactive game where kids would call in and they would like press buttons on their phone, and then they would make the troll like move on like a little like Mario 3 map thing, and then Hugo would run in. Oh, Hugo found an apple. He gets to eat the apple. And he's got more energy now or something, or like he would run into like a a bad guy or something,
Wait,
depending
is
on
this
like where you sent them.
so? Was this like on television that people
Yeah.
could call in and press buttons on their phone, and then they would see on television
Yeah,
this
yeah,
troll does stuff?
it was.
That's kind of cool.
I don't know if they had anything like that over there. Yeah, like they had,
No.
they did this, and a lot of the times they would tell you over and over, like don't call in and try to do this if you have like a rotary phone, and kids would call, and they would be like, okay, go ahead and to tell Hugo where to go, and then you would just hear like very quietly, and then nothing would happen, and then they would be like, oh, sorry, looks like you got a rotary phone, you can't tell Hugo where to go, you can only hear the tone, and you would hear the kids start crying.
Oh no!
Because it was all live.
Oh.
Does anyone else remember Hugo the Troll? I don't know. I may be aging myself a bit with Hugo the Troll.
I've never heard anything like this. I just know over here we have, or we used to have this thing where you would call a number and pay money with your parents' credit card, and then you could hear a joke or someone would talk to you.
What?
And they'd
Was this
run.
a
They'd
TV
run.
show?
No, it was an infomercial
No, it was
commercial on
just
TV
like a
during
s-
kids shows.
Yeah, it was just like a scam. I don't even remember any specifics of it because I never called into any of that stuff. I was too busy watching similar rhythm to the title of Hugo the Troll, David the Gnome. I was big into David the
Yeah.
Gnome.
Oh
Sounds
yeah,
so-
David the Gnome's actually a UK thing. I didn't know you had that there.
Yeah, I liked that he had
Is that
a
a
fox
Canadian-
Swift that he would ride
Canadian
around on.
channel?
Say what?
Is that a Canadian channel? Because I used to get Canadian channels.
No, I think David the Gnome used to be on Nickelodeon. I think.
Did
I don't-
it?
I don't remember
Oh, I
that
didn't
well
know.
because I was like a little tot, but I was a fan of David the Gnome. I thought the trolls were really creepy. Also, it was nice that they turned into stone every day, so you got a little break from that.
That they were, yeah. And then like the whole ending of that, where he like the fox friend that he had, I can't remember his name, but he
Swift.
was just like
Swift the Fox.
Swift, yeah. Him and his wife were like, "Oh, Swift, it's time for us to go turn into trees." And then like there's like the last episode, and then they go off and just like wave goodbye to Swift, and he's like scared out of his mind. Like you never see Swift this scared. He's scared out of his mind. He's like crying and like begging for them to not turn into trees, and they just wave to him goodbye and to turn into trees.
Well, I don't even
And that's the
remember
last
that.
episode.
I don't know if maybe I never saw that. I don't remember that last episode.
I remember that fucked me up a lot.
They turned
when I
into
was a kid.
trees?
It would have been,
Bad decision.
yeah, they turned into trees.
Like why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself? I mean, I understand trees have a pretty chill existence. So.
I think that's just like what happens when they die.
So
Is
trees
they
are
turn
all
into trees.
trees are all dead gnomes. Kind of brings the whole.
Maybe
Well,
that's
I
what
don't
they're
know
trying
that all trees are dead gnomes, but like
Go
that,
for.
some of them are.
Did we ever see the American series Angela Anaconda?
I
Oh, the
heard
one
of
that was
that.
like in the front of the Digimon movie.
Was that sort of like a mixed media animation style? I think it wasn't quite like
yeah.
a normal. I'm getting like really vague visuals. I don't think I ever watched any shows, but I saw like previews for it and stuff. Seemed
Yeah,
like
it was a funny looking thing.
it seemed I don't know why, but it felt like a precursor to Daria.
At least Swift was found by another gnome. I don't remember that he was, but I'll take your word for it. I don't know. I think more so than anything bad happening to like a person in a movie or something, whenever bad things happen to animals, or animals are like left alone
Yeah.
or something, that always like really like viscerally fucks me up.
Oh, somebody just came in there asking, what are we talking about tonight?
David the Gnome.
So much, so many things.
And Hugo the Troll. And drugs. Not necessarily all
Drugs
in the
and
same.
AI.
Not necessarily all in the same part of the topic.
But not in China. None of those are in China.
No, no one in China does drugs. They all obey the law completely, all the time.
I think there are gnomes here. I think I've seen a few.
You've seen trees, right?
Not many of them. No.
Did I tell you about
No.
my gnome experience as a child and how gullible I was?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've.
You watched a lot of Dave the Gnome. You thought you were Dave the Gnome.
Well, yeah, I watched David the Gnome. I was fascinated by it. Hold on, selection from layer creates. There we go. And so my big sister, who I think might have been a little on the evil side, actually told me one day. Did I tell you this, Hazen? She was like, "Oh, did you know that gnomes are real?" And I was like, "Well, really? Gnomes are real?" She's like, "Yeah, they're real. In fact, I've seen them before." Well, you've seen gnomes before? How do you see gnomes? You just have to watch. You just have to watch for them. You have to be very still and very careful. In fact, there's one of the gnome tunnels right there. Well, where? And she pointed to like an acorn lying on the ground because we had a huge oak tree in the backyard. And so I was like, whoa, and I went to pick it up and look at it. She's like, no, you're not. No, don't touch it because they fill the tunnel in after they go inside. So you're just going to see dirt if you pick it up. You just have to sit here and watch and wait for them to come out. And if you don't look away... I was out there for like fucking 3 hours, and then eventually she came back out and she's like, how's it going? I'm like, oh, well, I haven't. Oh, did you just see that? And then I look back down. She's like, oh, you missed it. If only you hadn't have looked up.
That's funny.
Yeah. She is evil. Anyway, why does Whip speak an odd language?
I actually can't tell you that because it might constitute a spoiler.
I have like a working theory that him and Mace are really one person or something.
Well, in my current position, I can neither confirm nor deny. That's what you say when you're a cool spy.
I don't know that. Yeah, if anyone thinks I'm hinting at something that David has told me, I'm not. I don't ask them about like lore stuff because I don't know. I don't want to. It seems like a shitty thing to do to try to get that out of them or something, you know?
Yeah, I just have the opinion of like the most fun way I can deliver the story is to actually create it and share it with people. So if I just run around telling people, oh, the ending is so cool, let me tell you how it's gonna go, then I feel like I'm robbing people of like the optimal experience. And it's like maybe instead of running around telling people about how cool it will be someday, maybe I should fucking draw. And that's what I've been doing for like 15, 20 years.
You should just go be like all the people on Twitter and stuff. You should just go and draw one picture of a character and go, this is my character and this is all the things that they can do and all their backstory. You're going to read all this right on this Twitter post. And then here's all the foods they don't like and what they're allergic to.
Yeah, I can understand why
that's
people.
The most interesting way to deliver a story.
I can understand why people do that because it's fun to be like, oh, I'm so into all this stuff about my character, but yeah, like actually sitting down and producing a comic. If you look at the number of people who talk on social media about their characters and they're going to be in a comic versus the number of people that have a comic that you can buy, there's a surprisingly small number of people that actually go forward to complete a comic. And I wish it was a higher percentage, but honestly, it's just way more work. And especially if you notice people posting on social media. Look at somebody posting like a picture of their character in like a bikini with their sandal flipping down. Oh, and they're on the beach. That's going to get like, X thousand of likes or whatever. Then look at somebody posting like a full color comic page. Like if people are looking at social media on their phone and it's like a small little image, that comic page is going to get orders of magnitude less attention. And that's fine because on social media, on your phone, if you're just scrolling through, you're not sitting there like necessarily reading entire pages of comics. You're just like, oh, that looks cool, that looks cool. But I think a lot of people put a little too much stock in the social media metrics, and so that sort of that almost like funnels them into just doing the same sort of cheesecake poses over and over. And it's like, yes, you might grow on social media from that, but also you're not developing anything with more depth. So I don't know, like long term you're kind of shortchanging yourself if you really wanted to create like a story that's actually like cool and immersive and interesting and can engage with people on a deeper level.
Yeah, I think that a lot of these people should just make a story. Like there's no real reason not to do that now. Like you don't even have to really know how to draw to make like consistent images and stuff. If you know, mostly consistent.
Well,
Like you could make something.
one thing I will note, and I think I even posted about this on social media a little while back, is unfortunately not all artists actually know how to tell anything approaching like a solid story. Because right, if someone's like, oh, let's say someone like is a bad artist or a good artist, you can look at their art and immediately you can see if it's like good or bad or competent or like not quite there, like they need more practice. But you cannot look at a manuscript and tell in an instant if it's good or not. You actually have to read it and understand it. And there's this issue where everyone by default, until they start to learn, everyone by default kind of believes that they are a good writer. I think the reason for that is because everyone knows when they don't like something else, and then they misinterpret that dissatisfaction as them being superior to what they don't enjoy. They're like, oh, I don't enjoy that. I think it was poorly done. Therefore, I'm better than it. If I don't like it, then I am above it. And it's like, well, you might be identifying what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. That's not the same thing as identifying whether or not you have more capability. It's like looking at it, you know, if you make a comparison to like sports instead, it's easier to see. Like you can look at a basketball player like fumbling a slam dunk and be like, that guy did not slam dunk properly. Since I can identify that he did not properly slam dunk, I guess I'm better at slam dunking than him because I know better. And it's a very easy thing to fall into with story and writing. And then the next problem comes with everyone that has a story, everyone that has like this like imaginative like impulse inside of them. It's so exciting, it's so thrilling, you want to bring it to life. And because it's so personal and like close to your heart, unfortunately it also has the effect of blinding you to whether or not it is interesting to other people, which of course is the entire point of writing, is you're trying to figure out how to take this passion and love and fire and imagination that you feel yourself about your ideas, how do you gift that exact same feeling to other people? And it is not easy. It's not at all easy. But people don't stop to think that. They just think, oh, I can look down on other entertainment, and I want to make entertainment myself, and I'm really excited about it, and it makes me feel good. So therefore, if I can look down on other entertainment, and I feel really good about what's in my imagination, that must mean that I'm really good at this. And then they just kind of put their stuff out there, and a lot of times, if this is like resonating with you at all, and you're like, oh, maybe this is me, maybe I don't know if I would be a good creator or not, maybe I'm bad at writing. I would say don't like freak out if you are unsure if you're good at writing or not, because it's a skill almost anyone can learn. Just like pick up 3 books. The 3 books I always recommend to people are The Fantasy Fiction Formula by Deborah Chester, Wired for Story by Lisa Cron, and what's the last one I recommend to people? I'm forgetting my own top 3 here.
Invisible Ink?
Yeah, Invisible Ink by Brian McDonald. That's it. Those 3 books, you can blow through those in a week. And to me, that's probably a better use of your time and money than going to like college for literature and writing stories. You know, it's like you could spend 4 years and tons of money on a bunch of professors and have a bunch of really, really dull requirements that don't really help you out. Or you could spend like $60 on 3 books and read them in a week. And then you're at least going to understand the different ingredients of how a story works and what catches people's interest and their attention and what does not. And if you just read those 3 books, then you're going to at least have the tools to understand how to build something, and it'll put you ahead of most other artists. So normally part of me is like, oh, I wish artists would always make more stories and like more comics and content, but the ones that actually have like the drive and the work ethic and the self-discipline to make all that stuff, it's a little bit tragic when they do that and then the story doesn't hold up, because it's like, oh, they put so much work into this. But if you put a ton of work into building a building, into constructing some sort of a mansion, but the blueprints are deeply flawed and it just collapses and it doesn't work and nobody wants to go inside of it, then that's kind of a tragedy. So it's just, I would encourage artists that want to make a comic to learn a little bit about the writing process and story and what interests readers, what doesn't interest readers, and that should help you a lot in trying to capture that fire, that enthusiasm, that love that you feel, and share it with other people.
Okay, here's a question for you. Is Mace the only one who can understand? Okay, so Mace is the only one who can understand Whip, but can Mace speak the way Whip does?
Mace can understand Whip, but Mace does not and cannot speak the way Whip does.
I was saying he probably thinks he is when he talks back to Whip. I don't know.
No, he's just talking.
Well,
He's just talking the way he talks.
Yeah, Whip
Okay.
seems to understand everyone else anyway, so I
Okay,
guess
so
it's
if
not
Mace
hard
wanted to
think.
tell Whip something without anyone else understanding, would he be able to speak
Oh.
like Whip, or would he just be speaking normally?
No, unfortunately, that would be useful, but Mace does not have like a secret code language that he can share with Whip. It doesn't. He just has to say what he thinks, and then Whip can understand him, just like Whip can understand anyone else. But only Mace can understand Whip. And that is how it works. Do-do-do.
The more you know.
The more you know.
The more you know.
I'm making mountains. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Molehills? What are you doing?
Molehills? No,
Making
they're
gnome
you know that-
holes.
mountains.
Gnome holes.
Yeah,
Mountains
I'm
have
making gnome holes. I'm finally gonna see a goddamn gnome. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care.
Even if I have to create it myself.
Even if I have to craft the gnome world myself, I will find them. People don't take gnomes and fairies seriously anymore. Don't they know Arthur Conan Doyle thought they were real?
Did Arthur Conan Doyle think that?
Yeah.
No, like, did you not hear? This is cute. My brain is offline for a second.
cute.
I gotta find
They
a
made a movie about this.
reference folder, textures. I was opening some texture files. I'll be back online shortly. I need my silver snow. Then I want my rock texture. That's in composites. I said double click. There we go. Rock grain. All right, but no, there was back in the 1800s. It was a fun time. There was a couple of girls who suddenly came forward claiming that they had photographed fairies. And
yeah.
in retrospect,
I
these,
know about that.
yeah, in retrospect, these are very, very obviously faked photographs. But Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the author of Sherlock Holmes, was completely taken in by these photos, and he was just like, "Oh, so it is true. Fairies are real. Yes, I know." And when people started like trying to tell him, "No, Artie, no, this isn't quite it. These girls are taking you for a ride." He got really up his own. He's like, you can't tell me. Don't you know I am the one that wrote Shakespeare? So if you think Shakespeare's intelligent...
He wrote Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yeah,
not
sorry.
Shakespeare.
Brain fart.
He wrote Shakespeare.
But he was like, I am the one that wrote Sherlock Holmes. So if you think Sherlock Holmes is intelligent and would see through a deception like this, much more so I would see through a deception. Because as I wrote Sherlock Holmes, therefore I am a mind that is greater than Sherlock Holmes because he had to originate within me. And so he was just like really, really hardcore about like, no, fairies are real. Fairies are real. This is absolutely solid proof. And I don't...
Well, wait. To explain some things, first of all, the police believed that Arthur Conan Doyle was really, really smart, so they would go to him for advice on their cases.
Really? I forgot that part.
Yes, and then back then they believed that children were innocent and wouldn't lie, so they really did believe that these girls were telling the truth on their like cutout photos that they were taking pictures with.
Who believed that children wouldn't lie back then? Like, did they know? Had they ever met a children?
One children.
Have you ever met a children? Children are so innocent; they would never lie. No, it's the opposite. They're these little savage, like beast apes that, until you teach them to be civilized and behave well, they will do anything. Children would never tell a lie.
We're all wondering how much opium he was on at the time.
I mean, probably not zero opium. Probably not zero of opium.
Only the best opium.
We only have the finest opium here, folks.
They offered me kosher opium. I had to kiss the wall. I had to do it. You ever had kosher opium? It's the best. Some say the best. That's what they're saying.
And there's a reason we hung around in Afghanistan so long, and it's because of we needed to build some schools. That we had just had to build all those schools. Nothing at all to do with opium and financing international drug trade and shady shit, I'm sure. I just believe...
Imagine if Shakespeare wrote Sherlock Holmes. It would be
yeah.
much more wordy.
Forsooth. I feel like the language has changed so much that it's difficult to really appreciate Shakespeare without a lot of work beforehand, because you really have to understand, like, well, how were they using language back then? Because now it's like you read it and like half the stuff is just kind of unintelligible, which is not Shakespeare's fault. He was writing for his audience of the time, you know, not for random people 300 years later.
I think he was just writing. Like, I think that Shakespeare was like one of the first people to just have like a very publicized writing. He was like one of the first people to get famous for being like a playwright.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he, you know, almost all, I think everything he wrote was just a play. And I think it was just the time in which he did his stuff was like just a period in time where they first started like appreciating and preserving some of that. Because
Yeah.
I've read a lot of Shakespeare, and a lot of his stuff really, like, it's very dated. There are better books now than Shakespeare, and people still act like they're smarter than everyone else because, well, I actually enjoyed Shakespeare. Like, okay, I bet you enjoyed that story about the like it's like 1,000,000 pages too that Shakespeare didn't write it. I think it was what is the guy's name? Oliver Twist.
Charles Dickens.
Taylor. I think it was a Charles Dickens book. It was like one of those books that just goes on for fucking ever, and it's terrible. But it's like about some person dies, and then these people inherit the house, and then there's this whole mystery about like why someone killed someone to inherit the house or something. I can't remember what it's called, but it's absolute shit. And everyone acts like that book is like a standard of like, do you have a long enough attention span to enjoy the classics? Well, why don't you read this Charles Dickens book? And it's like, Charles Dickens sucks. Those books are terrible. They're awful. But like, that's just like, for whatever reason, because he was just there around at a time where there were Americans writing things. Oh boy. Like, that's just happened to be something that was like one of the first things that they did and preserved. If you want an example of a classic American writer who writes way more interesting stories that are told in a way that you won't be asleep or dead by the end of the book, go read Samuel Clemens. Go read Mark Twain.
Yeah.
That's his like
Samuel.
yeah,
Clemens.
that's his like pen name or whatever. Yeah, go read that. Go read
Mark Twain is his persona.
The Mysterious Stranger. Go
His
read
persona
that
is
by
Colonel
Mark Twain.
Sanders.
Yeah, he is Colonel Sanders. You know, he was friends with Nikola Tesla. I never knew that.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, there's like photographs of them in Tesla's lab and stuff for a couple times. But he wrote a story called The Mysterious Stranger. Go read that story and tell me that anything Charles Dickens ever wrote was ever that interesting.
To be fair, I don't think I've ever read any Charles Dickens aside from I can't even remember the title of it now. The classic one, the three Ghosts Before Christmas. I read that when I was a kid.
Christmas Story or something with Scrooge.
Yeah, Christmas Carol.
Yeah, the spooky Christmas ghosts, spooky Three Christmas Ghosts, spooky spook, Scrooge McDuck, that one. I'm surprised he wrote about Scrooge McDuck before Scrooge McDuck was even a character. It's very
That is
prescient.
pretty crazy. He did that, yeah.
Yeah, but aside from that, I've never really gotten into Charles Dickens. I don't have a motivation to read Charles Dickens, to be honest. I don't know if he's boring, but
I only like Charles Dickens if it's a Muppet version.
I think there's, like, don't get me wrong, I do think there's a lot of value to reading, like, there's a lot of wisdom and entertainment, and it's also, I think it's great to read older books because it's really good to see how did people think 50 years ago, how did people think 100 years ago. There's some fascinating stuff, but I feel like for me at least, most of that falls more in the category of philosophy and that type of thing. Like I've read who's the guy? Oswald Spengler, I think, who wrote The Decline of the West volumes 1 and 2, and that was like fascinating from start to finish. That stuff was just mind-blowing. Like, it's wordy, it's not a light, easy read, but there was a lot of interesting ideas, and it was really, really cool to see how someone thought about, like, the rise and fall of these different epochs of history and how it, like, weaves together. It doesn't mean that's, like, exactly how it is, but it was a really interesting system of thought. And I think it's healthy to be exposed to, like, a variety of different systems of thought. But that said, especially if you're just reading for entertainment, don't read something for entertainment that you are forcing yourself to read and it's not enjoyable, because at that point it's not functional as entertainment anymore if you're forcing yourself to read it despite the fact that it's not entertaining. Like it is entertainment's job to
Like,
capture and
only
keep
read
your
Lord
attention.
of the Rings if you're going to be entertained by it. Don't read Lord of the Rings because you're being forced to.
Yeah, like it is the job of entertainment to capture your attention and keep it and make it rewarding for you. Like, entertainment has a job to do. Entertainment is supposed to deliver to you and reward you for all the intention you invest into it. And older entertainment, you know, different times change, there might have been different standards, but that doesn't mean that you should hold it to a lower standard when you are deciding to entertain yourself. Now, it's different if you want to read some of these old books for historical reasons or literary reasons, or if you want to, like, expose yourself to different systems of thought and it's not strictly for, I guess, an entertainment function. But if you're reading something just for entertainment value, if it's not entertaining, then, you know, gong it. Life is short. There's other stuff out there to read that's good.
Oh, the story I'm thinking about is called Bleak House. And it is a Charles Dickens novel.
Bleak House, that's
and it is crap.
It sounds
I've never
bleak.
heard of that one. That one is not as
Yeah,
popular.
I wonder fucking why. It's fucking horrible. It's so rancid. Like that. I remember, like, they tried to make us read this in English in school, and it was just mind-numbingly stupid and long and convoluted for no reason.
Oh, in English in
it's
school.
like reading, like,
now I understand.
yeah, it's like reading Ulysses, but like a murder mystery about British people.
English.
And I think like no,
like
yeah,
English
no one
class,
read it.
Like I, especially
It wasn't like for English class, but like
still
that everyone was like, oh, we have to read this, and it's so long that we're going to make you do a book report every month on like the first like so many chapters. I think it was the first 3 chapters, and then we have to do the first 3 chapters and do a report on that, and we just slowly throughout the school year work our way through this fucking abysmal book. And so like everyone just looked up like what happens online.
Yeah.
And then just wrote like a report based on that, and the teacher didn't know. She was like, "Wow, I can't believe you guys are actually paying attention to this. So it makes me feel really happy that you're able to read and comprehend this stuff."
You know what? They don't choose books that are good. They, in college anyway, or in high school, they choose books that the teacher like has some sort of love for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our.
Or they choose books that turn you into an idiot, like Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah. When I was in college, especially, like, because, you know, I was like AP English in high school and yada, yada, yada. I read a lot of books. But in college, especially, it was like, we had to take English classes in art college. And it's like, why are we doing this? Oh, well, we have to. It's a requirement. Might as well do it. But it was so just dumbed down and moronic. And then we had to read required, like, novels. And it was like, why am I reading this novel? I've never heard of this before. Dinner at the Homesick Restaurant. And it was this long, saccharine, convoluted, and it became evident pretty fast that this is simply a favorite book of the teacher. Like, for whatever personal reason, it really gets the tears going for her. And since she's a teacher, and since this is her favorite book, now like her mission in life is to force everyone else in class to treat it as though it's some sort of immortal classic. And it's like, no, it's really not. But thank you for wasting all of our time.
I really have always hated the fact that that was something. I didn't realize that was like pretty global.
I think,
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
in high school, I had to read this book called like The Doll Maker or something, and we were reading it, and then there's a point where the teacher says skip 4 chapters because it's really boring. It doesn't matter.
It's like
Okay.
I have another
Oh my
story.
God.
I have another story about English teachers. There was some short stories that were supposed to be so deep and abstract, and my sister and I had the same exact English teacher, and she would do these dreaded quizzes about these like esoteric short stories and be like, okay, so what did the falling snow in this story symbolize as this young lad was going about his life? And my sister at one point wrote in her when she took the class. Her answer to the quiz was, it symbolizes the fact that he's slowly going deaf and that he's losing his hearing, and the thicker the snow gets, the more his disability progresses. And it's like, nope, sorry, wrong. You get a low grade. Like, she would really grade harshly. So it's like, you are now fucked in this class because you got the wrong answer to what the snow is supposed to symbolize. And my sister was like, oh man. And guess what? When I took the class, guess what the right answer to that question was? The right answer to that question became, the snow symbolizes this child is losing his hearing, and as it progresses, the snow gets thicker and thicker. And I told that to my sister, and she was like, wait a minute, that's what I said, and I got it wrong.
Okay, so basically the teacher liked your sister's answer. It was like, no, you don't get credit. I'm taking that. That's my answer now.
I mean,
how dare this child interpret the book better than me? I'm the teacher.
I can't say for sure what was going on in the teacher's mind. I mean, probably because she was gone from the class most of the time having smoke breaks, but that's a plausible explanation. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, if you get it, like, I don't want to say like teachers are all lame and bad. Fuck teachers. Get your skateboard and live for yourself. Like, when you get a good teacher that knows what they're doing and they actually care about successfully helping you navigate the world, that is extremely valuable. And you might learn a lot from that person. But I have come to believe that that is a very, very stark minority of people that are in the field of teaching.
Good teachers are invaluable, but they're just, you can go your whole like student section of your life and never run into one.
Yeah. Which actually I think is why books can be so valuable, because a lot of times you know what you're going to get, especially if you read like a summary online, like what am I going to, if I read Beyond Good and Evil by Nietzsche, what am I going to get out of it? And then, lo and behold, you can read that book and you can get out of it what you basically expect to get, and it's almost like a guaranteed store of value. And you don't have to have some teacher giving you an asinine like quiz about it later. Plus, I don't know, there's just something about
the quiz being like, what does it mean to me?
Also from art college, it instilled in me a general distaste for people who use the field of entertainment as an arena of who can be the most pretentious. Because especially, going to art college, art installations, like, this, actually what I did was I peed on a stick and I made it into the shape of a cross, and then I wrote a picture of Jesus as a frog saying, like, croak, and it's very deep. It's like, no, it's not. Just because you had to write a massive essay explaining it and tack it to the side. Like, I know if you have all the right connections in the New York art scene or whatever, like, everyone's gonna, like, suck your dick at the party because the martinis all cost, like, $57 each. But really, this is not interesting. It has no meaning outside of the essay that you tack to the side of it. And in fact, the essay itself is the repository of your intended meaning, and this thing that you made is just a tool where you can test whether other people are demonstrating social allegiance to your bullshit. So I just don't have a lot of respect for pretentiousness. I feel like it's just a tool to try to see if other people will submit to agreeing that shitty stuff is good. And if they do, then you know where they lie in the power structure, in the power hierarchy. And it's like, none of that actually serves the customer. None of that actually creates good entertainment. And none of that actually creates, like, art that is intrinsically worthwhile.
And that's why Dave doesn't go to art museums.
No, I would like to go to art museums. I don't think art museums are necessarily rife with that, especially if they have like older stuff. If they have like some of the realist paintings of the 1800s, I think, are just spectacular, and seeing them in person really is special. But I wouldn't be interested in
bet
going.
You avoid the modern pop section.
I mean, I wouldn't avoid it, but I wouldn't like fucking linger there. I wouldn't be like, oh look, a Campbell's soup can 9 times, incredible. No, it's actually not. It's actually crap. I think Andy Warhol is probably, I don't even remember that much about him, but kudos to him for doing a lot of blow and for running a really, really good scam. But in terms of like artistic value, there's nothing there.
Yeah, I think Warhol sort of knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He literally did just like pee on something and sell it.
Yeah, I think he was in on the joke, and I even think a lot of the people in the modern art world are also in on the joke. It's not even a question of who gets it, who doesn't, who has something to say. It's not a question of who has something to say. It's a question of like, are you connected to the right people where you are allowed to participate in this sarcastic, nose in the air culture that doesn't require any merit whatsoever. And if you're hooked up to the right people, it's more of like a flex about your status than anything to do with like competent artistic expression. It's just kind of like a big status game. And I think that's why a lot of modern art has just devolved into like transparent money laundering when it comes to the way they sell off their stuff.
What is this? I keep seeing this word. Dataism?
Dateism? Dadaism?
Dadaism.
Dadaism.
Oh,
It's
Dada. I've heard of the word before. It was an artistic movement. I think it was adjacent to like surrealism, if I'm not mistaken, or one of them might have been inspired by the other, but I don't remember the precise details about Dadaism. But like Dali did, I think he was a big. Was that surrealism, Dali, with all of his like melting clocks and stuff?
Yeah.
Dali was
Yeah, it was.
surrealism.
See, I feel like
But this is not Daliism. This is Dadaism.
Dadaism.
Dada.
Yeah, I forget what Dadaism is. There's a lot of stuff.
It's an
around it.
early 20th century art movement that mocked art.
Oh, a movement that mocked art. Okay. Well, unless it was funny, then I would say, fuck it. Like if something is being mocked,
wait,
then
wait
it's
a
like
minute. No,
then it-
wait a minute. Wait. Is it the thing where it says like this is not a pipe, and it's the pipe?
Oh, is
I
that
don't know. 20th century would be 1900s, so it could be that.
Oh, I'm saying if there's something that is making its business to mock something else, I think there's room for that. I think there's room for commentary on that. But if it's being mockery, then it's like, okay, then you better be funny. And if you're mockery and you're not funny, then in my opinion, you have failed to deliver a punchline. I'll tell you who
It is pretty funny taking the piss out of art, though.
Yeah, it is.
I think,
I'll tell you who
depending on how they did it.
I'm not
The idea
impressed
is
by
funny.
as an artist is I remember it this really started to crystallize for me that I don't like a lot of like quote unquote modern art was Mondrian. Have you ever seen his stuff? It's like squares of primary colors with some black lines going through it, and then he would just like write about how incredibly deep and profound it is, and it's like beyond any other like Renaissance master. It's all of this like
Like a fucking OC post on Twitter.
it's like no dude
My painting is super deep and super complex, and it was in a war and a backstory.
Exactly. And it's like, no, bro, you look like you are designing a preschool wallpaper. This is not mind-blowing art. This is just a bunch of squares and shapes.
Designing these nuts.
Yeah. So modern art can kiss my butt. Edgy take of the day.
Good job. You shut up. Good job. Smart.
It's kind of unfortunate though that like quote unquote like that sort of flavor of pretentious like just elitist money laundering type of art has kind of dominated our cultural spotlight for the last, I don't know, like 100 years, 50 years, whatever it is. Because it seems like it sort of sucks the oxygen out of the room for actual good art to be produced. Not that people can't produce
That's what
good
people
art, but
think of now.
yeah, when people think of art now,
if you say you're an artist, yeah, like if you say you're an artist, that's immediately what people think of is someone with that stupid French beret
Yes.
and like a pen paintbrushes out sitting by a river painting a really shitty picture of the river.
Yeah. So it just in terms of like our culture's recognition of and conception of art, that stuff really stole the show, and I think that art has suffered as a result. I think that's why a lot of people that would be more actual artists have gravitated towards trying to do things in explicit entertainment like comics and animation, because in the quote unquote art world and things that would be seen in a museum, like how cool would it be to have a museum full of like animation stuff? Like I'd actually go see an exhibit like that. There's a lot of fantastic art that goes into like a lot of these animation productions.
I don't know
That's why I
how
collect
that's
the
not a thing
concept-
in
that's why I
Japan.
collect the concept art books is because otherwise you never see all that stuff.
Yeah, like I've tried to start getting some art books just so I can have access to a lot of the production stuff that goes into some of these pieces. And like yeah, like even in Japan or even here, like I would imagine if someone made like a museum of anime and they had a lot of like original background paintings and cells, and like I would go to that museum. It'd be awesome.
I would go to Japan just to go to that. Honestly, maybe something like that does exist there. I don't know.
Yeah, someone's
Like
gonna be
legendary
well, the
studios
museum
like
does
Sunrise
exist.
and stuff. There's no way.
like, the museum
that
does
shouldn't
exist and you
exist.
didn't go to it, so it proves that you are full of shit. And I'd be like, oh no.
So you are gay now.
Well, I mean, if it was accessible to me, if it was nearby, but if it's a plane ticket away, that might be a little steep.
There's one for Osamu Tezuka.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, is there? Okay. I
I'm
want
pretty
like
sure.
one big museum, like in Akihabara, where like it's Tezuka, Toriyama, all the Sunrise guys, like all that stuff. Like not just people who created things, but actual things that just like kind of started as like an animation. Those types of things. Shinjiro Watanabe, like all those guys. I want to see all their stuff. The fucking JoJo guy, what's his name? He has a painting in the Louvre, in the Louvre.
Oh, does it?
Louvre.
The Louvre.
Okay.
Yeah. What is his name? Araki. Yeah, Araki. He has a painting that's hanging in the Louvre. Believe it or not.
Why?
Because they thought his strange impressionist style, the way he uses color, was interesting, I guess, or he probably
Or
just
he's-
knew
Or he's
someone.
famous.
I don't know how famous he really was back then when that got hung up, but like he maybe knew someone or something, but I don't know. It's an interesting painting. Like the painting that he did, I looked at it and I was like, oh, like if someone had never seen a JoJo cartoon, like they probably would think like this is very interesting. And I agree that the way he designs things and uses color in a lot of the shows is very interesting, but the show just it's JoJo. It's you watch that for like a laugh. You don't really watch that because you're taking it seriously.
Yeah, sure. Did you hear, speaking of Miyazaki, did you know that he had a son that did, I think, at least one animated movie? I came upon it.
Hayao Miyazaki.
I think that was his son's name. But I
No,
learned that...
the guy, yeah.
Yeah, but I learned
The
that
actual
recently
senior.
because I read the book series The Legend of Earthsea, and I was like, oh, this is really good. And then I was like, oh, they've made movies of it? Let me see. And there was actually a Miyazaki movie about like Legend of Earthsea, an adaptation. I was like, oh, no kidding. Why don't more people talk about that? And then I saw, oh, it's by Miyazaki Jr., not Miyazaki Sr. And apparently, I haven't seen it, but apparently it did not get a good reception. And in fact, the quote I saw was that when Miyazaki Sr. saw it, his only comment was, my son is still a child. Which seemed like a really savage...
That seems right, like par for the course for a Miyazaki.
Yeah, it seems like, man,
quotes. Yeah.
savage criticism right there. So I don't know if that's...
There's no love in the family. That's so harsh.
I don't know if that's a merited criticism or not, because I haven't seen the movie, but kind of makes me curious to watch it one of these days. It's difficult to imagine though. Imagine like you have a child that's following in your footsteps, trying to create entertainment, and then someone asks you your opinion of it.
And then he's an adult, by the way.
Yeah, and it's like, well, like you could just keep your opinion to yourself. You don't have to throw your son under the bus. It's like just let it go as well as it can go. But instead, he's like, yeah, my son is just a child. He's not a man. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, just calm down. Are you pissed at him? Like, what the hell? Even if you don't like the movie, you could just be like, not the way I would have done it, and leave it at that.
I think he's just like that. I think that's just how he talks to everyone. Have you ever seen the little thing where it shows like Hayao Miyazaki, and he's just like constantly angry and bummed out and like hateful and resentful towards everything.
No.
And he makes all these happy like little rainbow movies and stuff. And then it shows what is the guy who did Uzumaki? I can't remember his name. He's like a horror. He writes some of the most like surrealist horror manga and stuff.
Oh,
he's the one who draws all like the black and white.
Is it the guy that did the like the spiral and like people going into the holes?
Yeah, that's Uzumaki. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember his fucking name, but he's always like super happy and like really pleasant to be around.
That's funny. They're just like, it's like the opposite of how they are is what they put into their fiction.
Yeah. What comes out in fiction is like the side of them that doesn't come out like anywhere else, so to speak.
It's interesting.
Someone in the chat, please give me that guy's name. I can't believe I forgot it. Legendary horror writer Junji Ito. Yeah, that's his name.
I was like racking my brain because I've even got a couple of his books, and I'm like, why do I not know that name?
See, like that guy's art is so unique. Like whether you like JoJo or not, that art is so unique. Like there should be a museum that's just focused on like manga and anime stuff. And I think Miyazaki would probably be pissed off to hear this, but I think his stuff should be in there. I think he doesn't seem to think that his stuff counts as anime, but I think it does. I think a lot of people think it does, and I don't think you get to decide what your creations are classified as.
At a certain point,
I think that should be in the museum.
At a certain point, like when you make something, then when you put it out into the public, it's no longer up to you how people engage with it because it's in the public. So you don't really get to tell people how they think of it and what they think of it. You just have to be like, well, I put this out there, and now people can describe it as they wish. I don't get to dictate that. I remember when I was like younger, first getting into comics, I was like a little bit like miffed because like what is Dreamkeepers like an anime? I like anime, so. But then everyone was like, no, this is not anime. Anime is only by people that are in Japan. Anime, and I was like, what? That's not fair. Like, what if someone makes an anime, but they were not born to Japanese parents? It's no longer an anime? Like, I had this idea that it shouldn't be about like where you were born or like how you were born. It should be about like what are you making? What are the characteristics of the work that you make? And that should be how things are defined. But that said,
you need to look at the definition of anime, honey. It means Japanese animation, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. But like the definition of that, anime literally just means animation translated.
Yeah.
And it's just what it was called there, and because it was called that there when it came here, people called it that to sort of like differentiate it from the rest of the West or whatever. But like the whole thing with anime, I agree with you, Dave. I agree that things should be classified by, the characteristics of their work. Where I think we probably will disagree is that I think there is just a certain sort of flavor that only can be produced with like majority Japanese people on your staff.
Well, I will
and
say,
that's not even how they make a lot of this stuff now, because a lot of stuff is animated by Doctor Movie and studios like that, which are Korean.
Well, I will say, like, I kind of agree with you just based on what I've observed. Like, when I was younger, I would have said, like, no, it doesn't matter who makes it or where they make it. What matters is the thing itself. If it is a thing that is anime, then it doesn't matter who made it. But practically speaking, I can't really think of something that has been made in the West that really feels like actual anime. It's just... Like,
the closest thing is probably that Avatar cartoon, but even that
doesn't feel like
really isn't anime.
Anime, exactly. It feels like it definitely feels anime inspired. But I would say that's like anime-inspired Western animation. It's not really anime, so whatever those Japanese guys are doing, like no one over here is doing the same thing. They're just not.
It's kind of a good point though that like Disney animates in Korea now. So what is this?
Everyone animates in Korea. Yeah, there's like these animation studios that have just for the last like 30 years, they're the ones pretty much animating almost everything. Some Japanese studios still do a lot of their stuff in house. I think Trigger still does almost all their own animation in their own studio.
Man, that's actually one thing is a little scary. Like what if there, I don't think there will be, but what if there was like an actual catastrophic war between the Koreas? Would we potentially lose everyone on Earth that can still traditionally animate, like at scale?
Yeah, we will lose a lot. We will lose a lot. Like The Simpsons and things like that. That will come out a lot slower because all that stuff's animated in Korea. So it may become too expensive to maintain it. Luckily, there's this new technology that exists that will probably take the place of that if something tragic does happen. Because I can guarantee you they won't be trying to replace them with people.
Yeah, I am looking forward to hopefully some of this new technology making things more affordable for more artists going forward. It's so weird to me that like I would have thought the opposite also when I was younger. I would have been like, oh, artists are all about like, you know, being progressive and like thinking like for themselves and like thinking outside the box, and they all love science, and so I'm sure they're going to be really pleased about technological developments in the field of creating art, right? Well, that's what it seems like, you know, that whole sort of like progressive Democrat kind of vibe of like, yeah, we love the science, we're following the science, and we love moving society forward, and like bright utopic visions, like, oh, so then you like the development of like new technologies, right? Yeah, of course. Sort of like something that can create more freedom for people and create like less reliance on like centralized authority. Yeah, we love that. Okay, yeah, so sort of like crypto. No. Oh God. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, then I guess you'll definitely love something that evens the playing field between huge corporations and individual artists. Like if there's some technology that would make individual artists able to compete with corporations in terms of like the content they produce, you'd like that, right? Yeah, we'd love that. That would be great. Fuck corporations. Woo. Okay, so then you like AI. No. Oh Jesus. Okay. Never mind. It's like, why not? Oh, because we were programmed not to by our our
I got another
media.
one, and it's like, here's one. If you love art, do you want to like own a complete original piece of something you've ever loved? Yes. Do you like NFTs? No.
Yeah.
With the NFT stuff, I understand a little bit more, but like still, a lot of people who hated those they thought it was all just like the monkey pictures or something, and that's not really. That's not really like what.
Jumped on the cancel
I'm convinced someone who did not want that technology to exist made that be the first thing to get famous from it. Because like that is the worst use of a blockchain like token of ownership type thing.
Well, it's the most
I think I've ever seen.
It's the most like worthless thing where there's no actual value anywhere for anyone. It's so stupid. That actually would be an interesting story. If you found out like why did the dumbest thing get elevated to become like the overwhelming face of that technology. It would be really funny if there was like some evil mogul somewhere who was like, you know what, I don't like this technology. I don't want it to take root. I like my centralized banking. I don't want anyone to have the ability to ever escape it. So I'm going to find the most cringe thing possible. Oh my gosh, little monkey faces? I can't even believe how cringe this is. Perfect. And now I will make it the face of this technology.
Well, someone in the chat said they still don't know what an NFT is. All an NFT stands for non-fungible token. All it is that there is a decentralized record, meaning that the record is held by thousands of people and it's just verified by thousands of people automatically through technology. Whenever a transaction happens, there is a decentralized record of who owns what, meaning that if you own something via an NFT, it can never be taken away from you. Like no one can force you to take it, or you know, they can threaten you into trying to get it from you, but they can't, like, you know how I don't know, I can't think of like a certain thing, but like, let's say Photoshop. Like there have been instances, I don't know if there's been instances of this particularly with Adobe products, but they're like something like Photoshop. If you draw something in Photoshop that Adobe sees and they don't like, under their current licensing terms, they can just terminate your access
What the
to
hell?
Photoshop.
Seriously?
Like, I think that's true. There's many things like that. Video games, for instance. I think video games as NFTs is an amazing idea, and a lot of people crucify me for that because they just think of the monkey pictures. But video games as they exist right now, if you purchase a video game digitally, sometimes even physically, you are not purchasing a copy of that game to own. You're purchasing a license from the publisher to play the game. And there have been instances of streamers that publishers and developers don't like getting banned from an online game, or getting like their license terminated for a game because something, you know, they did something the developer doesn't like, or they broke some rule on the platform that they purchased the game from. So now they don't have any legal right to claim the ability to own or play that game anymore.
I'm just old school.
Think about if that exists.
Like, I remember, like, when you buy a video game, it's like, oh, then it is yours because you bought it.
Yeah, it used to be that way, but now that's not that way. When you purchase a video game digitally, again, sometimes even physically, when you purchase them, they just give you a license to play the game. Think about if that wasn't the case. Think about what NFTs could do for games, for gaming, digital gaming. Is one, you would own any game you purchased forever. No one could take the game away from you. If it was an online game, they could ban you or terminate access, but they could not take away your ability to own the software, the copy of the software that you had, or use it for something else, as long as it's not, like, you know, probably making money off of it or whatever. And the second thing that NFTs would allow for digital games is they would allow you to buy and sell used digital games. You'd be able to transfer your license over the way you can with some music programs and some video editing programs. You can sell your you can sell your license to someone else and transfer it over to their account.
So is it kind of like having a limited number of PDFs out there?
Actually, I can explain.
It can be limited
way.
or not. It can be limited or not. You can have unlimited amounts of them. But the main thing is just that your ownership of it is like Bitcoin. It's decentralized. No one can just come in and take away. No, Johnny Bitcoin cannot come in one day and go, I don't like this person. You don't get to have a Bitcoin account anymore.
Well,
like,
I think I can explain.
Do that.
I think I can explain kind of simply how it works. So I'll start by saying everyone knows what a bank account is. You have a bank account. You got money in there. Boom. Now, your money in the bank account, that number you see when you log in and you look at your bank account, that is on the bank account's ledger. It's in their little hard drive. And if, let's say, for example, somebody hacked their hard drive, they could turn that number into whatever they want. They could turn that number into 0. And if they successfully hack that one computer at the bank, you're just kind of fucked. Or let's say one day the government contacts the bank and they're like, hey, bank, we don't like this guy. We'd like you to freeze his account. Disable access to his account just unilaterally. And the bank would be like, oh, well, we gotta do what you say, so okay. So boom, if they have control of that one computer that dictates what is in your bank account, then your money's frozen. You don't get to touch it. It's not up to you. It's up to the people that own that computer. Now, the difference...
Or if some bank or card network decides you cannot sell porn.
Yeah, they can decide, like, basically, if there's your bank account and one computer that determines whether or not you're allowed to touch it and what the number is, whoever controls that computer controls your bank account completely. And you know, this isn't like crazy, like, well, who would ever block my access to a bank account? It's like a lot of that stuff has been happening in recent years, so that's not a fringe hypothetical. That's just a thing that happens now. You could be politically out of favor. There could be anything that happens. So why is a blockchain different at all? Well, instead of being on one single computer controlled by just the bank, A blockchain has that same information, like the number in your bank account, but instead of being on one computer, it's on like 10,000 different computers. And there is a technology where if, let's say, someone hacks one of those computers and they want to change that number, well, they can hack that one computer and change the number, but then the other 9,000 computers will be like, no, actually, that doesn't match our records, so you don't get to change that number. And if the government's like, well, we want to freeze that account, so we're gonna take control of one of these computers and freeze the account, the other 9,000 computers will be like, well, no, actually, you can't do that because you're one computer and we're 9,000. So actually, they still get to access that account. So what it does is when people say decentralized, that's literally what they mean. It means that the control is no longer under one central authoritarian thumb, per se. It's distributed among like tons and tons of other computers, and there's a technology that dictates how all those computers agree on what is valid and what is not. So that's like, in a nutshell, that's the main appeal of something like Bitcoin, where it's like, oh, well, this way, the bank can't just freeze my access to my accounts. I can get to this anywhere I go, anywhere in the world, as long as I know like my access codes and shit. I can just get to it, and nobody can stop me. The United States government could be like, we're not letting you touch your Bitcoin, and you could be like, listen, you can physically throw me in prison because you're the government, but you can't actually stop. If I have a computer, you can't stop me from accessing my money. You just can't do it. Sorry, it's decentralized. And I think NFTs are sort of similar in that they are also on a decentralized blockchain, but instead of just telling you what the number in your bank account is, NFT, I think like an obvious use for NFTs, I would think, would be like
just like a certificate of ownership.
Yeah, like I think an obvious use case for NFTs would be like a deed to a building. Like, you know, when you sell property, like there's all these like people and real estate. There's like so many professionals that make sure everything is official, and it goes through this and it goes through that, and you have the official deed, and it's double checked by this realtor and double checked by the bank and triple checked by these people over here, and everybody takes a little cut during the process. Well, if there's one way to just get the deed and be like, oh, you're selling the deed, I want to buy the deed. If only there was a way that we could just have that happen without paying like 15 middlemen to supervise the process. Well, that's what an NFT could do. An NFT could be like, okay, it's basically like a digital dollar, except each one is unique. So it's like you have a unique house, and there's only one NFT for that house's deed in existence. So you can sell that one deed to anyone you want, and then they have it and you don't have it. So an NFT is basically just saying like, oh, it's a digital certificate, and each one is different, and you can sell it to somebody and then they have it. And again, I think things like managing real estate transactions, I think, would be a really common sense use case for NFTs. But instead they decided to make gorillas.
Ugly monkey pictures and then make a cartoon out of it.
So that's why I know it seems a little tinfoil hat, but like all the people that are invested in the current financial system and the current financial system's ability to maintain centralized control over everyone, it sounds tinfoil hatty, but all those people would have a motivation to make sure that nothing could start to flourish that would undermine their chokehold on all that control and power. I mean, they have a huge motivation to make sure that people don't escape their control.
Especially the card networks, because like the card networks can walk into Steam, which made $8 billion last year, by the way. 8 billion with a B. They can walk into Steam and they can call Gabe Newell and go, hey, Gabe Newell, we're shutting down all payments on your site because you have these porn games that some old ladies in Australia told us about. And it only takes one. If MasterCard calls and tells them that they're canceling their merchant account, MasterCard doesn't even call Steam. They call their payment processor, and their payment processor gateway owner gets a call from MasterCard, and they go, terminate this Steam account because some old ladies in Australia showed us some stuff we don't care for too much. We don't want that stuff to be sold and processed through MasterCard. So we don't want MasterCard to work on this site anymore. So then what will happen is the payment processor will just shut the account down, because they don't want, like, you cannot process payments through one card network without following the rules of all of them. I don't know why that is. No one will ever explain why that is, but basically there's a set of rules, and if you want to use any one card network, Discover, America, JBP, any of that stuff, if you want to use Visa or MasterCard, which are the two big global ones, if you want to use Visa and MasterCard, you have to follow the rules of Discover, you have to follow American Express's rules, all this other shit. You have to follow all these rules, and if you don't, none of the cards will work with you anymore, and you'll be put on this list if you violate something where they won't work with you for like 7 years. So they call the payment processor, and then Steam, who we still don't know if they had a high risk account for these porn games or not. They should have had it, but we never got that answer out of Steam. But they call their payment processor, and then their payment processor calls them and just goes, yeah, your account's canceled and we can't tell you why.
Okay, well, you're
Can you
over
see-
time.
Oh, no kidding.
A little bit, yeah. I'll just finish this then. Like they basically call and say that, and then suddenly you can't take payments from anyone anymore, and then you start talking about things like just sites that do nothing but sell not safe for work or display not safe for work. People have subscriptions to them. Things like Patreon with people who offer not safe for work. You see this stuff, and you see all these furries complaining about like, oh, well, the Visa and MasterCard, they're so evil. I wish we had something we could do to pay for this stuff without them. And then you say, well, there is something. There's crypto. There's Bitcoin. Immediately, they will just completely just dogpile you and say, the what? Crypto? Are you really suggesting crypto right now, dude? Dude, crypto? Really? Don't you know it kills trees somehow? I don't know how, but it kills trees. Don't you know it's a scam?
It's kind
Don't you know
of
tomorrow it might be worth different amount?
when you see
Ugh, not
people
crypto.
when you see people aggressively advocating against their own interests, to me that's sort of an indication that propaganda works.
It's an indication that they have been programmed to have this response, because most of them can't even explain to you why it's bad. Just some furry artist that they like said it was bad.
Yeah, which again, like when you realize how many extremely powerful interests would like to keep their total control over these centralized money operations that we've been talking about, it's like, well, no wonder that there's going to be incentives in place for people to shit on like the jailbreak option. But I still think, like, obviously it's been experiencing like very strange, seemingly astroturfed headwinds the last decade or so. But I think, especially as fiat currencies experience more and more problems, I think it's kind of only a matter of time. And especially if like governments keep on like tariffing each other to hell and back, and there's all these like obstacles to people being able to just do stuff with each other that they would like to do. It seems like the obvious solution is only going to get more obvious, and I don't know. I think at some point in the future that's just going to be sort of like the infrastructure for sound money, and people are going to look back at this generation and I think they're going to be a little bewildered at all of the people that were like kicking and screaming and doing everything in their power to prevent like a better option from forming up.
Yeah, that's like people will say that's crazy, but then a lot of the time when stuff like this does happen and people say, hey, that could be happening, that's very likely to be happening, a lot of people come out and say, no, you are crazy, that is not happening. And then like 10 years later, it's like, yeah, we did actually do that stuff. We did actually try to like suppress Bitcoin and suppress NFTs by making it look like a big, stupid, stinky scam.
Well, there's always like, even if you look at like things that the CIA has admitted to doing like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, like they have admitted to doing some absolutely mind-blowingly horrific things, and then it's like, oh, but obviously they're not doing anything bad now. We're just admitting to the stuff that applies to people who already have their pensions and they can't be fired. Like that stuff, sure, yeah, you got us. We were doing that stuff. The people involved are no longer able to be held accountable because they're dead or like 90 years old. But obviously we're just on the up and up now. It's like, no, they're not. Obviously. Then that's just kind of the nature of power when it's centralized. It's going to be abused, and I think that's why decentralized technology, it does have a lot of promise. Like, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of pitfalls and downside. Like any new development, there's going to be pros and cons. But generally speaking, like, there's a lot of reasons why it'd be nice to get out from under centralized control. But now I am talking, and we are sort of over time on the stream because I've just been making happy little snowcanos over here.
They're happy little homes.
Yeah. Before we head out for tonight, then, I just want to remind you guys about the fundraiser for Mamo that we got going on, because he is in a literal war zone. It's not fun, and
Yes,
there are some pretty fundamental things that are at risk, and including his delightful cats and his own skin. So he's in a tight spot. If you can donate. Let me grab the link again and put it in there. If you can donate anything to help him, oh, you got it. I should mention that you're not just being generous to him. You're being generous to yourself, because we're gonna match whatever you do with store credit in both the safe for work and the not safe for work Vivid stores. So even if you're like, I don't care about
you'll immediately get what you donate back in store credit.
Yeah, so even if you're like, I don't care about this Mamo guy, I just want to buy the book that I've been looking out for this whole time. It's like, that's fine. But you can donate to Mamo and still get your book. Because literally, however much you donate, that is now money that you have to spend in that store.
And then if you are having any problems in the stores for whatever reason, email us at vivid@vividpub.com. Don't send me private telegram issues. I can't do that.
Yeah, please send
customer service.
Please send customer service to the email, because otherwise, like, DMs, there's a good chance we're never gonna see it. There's a good chance like the wrong person will see it. Just send it to the email. That's where we can handle like customer service transaction issues. All right. Oh, thank you for the links, Hazel.
Don't DM me about them. I can't help you.
People are silly. Email, the customer service email. I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. But yeah, thank you everyone already. We've already had like a good amount of donations, so I appreciate you guys showing up for someone in the Vivid community that needs help, and just, making things a little bit better in the world for someone else. And also, I hope you use the store credit. I like delivering books to people. I like delivering merch to people. That's one of the fun things about what we do is I don't know, I like making cool stuff, and I like putting cool stuff in people's hands. But I also like getting dinner. So I guess on that note, I should say thank you everyone for hanging out. It's been a fun stream. More things will be coming to life in the Dreamkeepers lore book. You see us coloring more and more of it all the time. And yeah, I'm gonna go get some dinner and finish off that volume 6 page I had in the pipeline. You guys have anything else to add before we call it a night?
I can't think of anything other than the GarageBand Kickstarter. We'll be back on Kickstarter, so look for the GarageBand Kickstarter real soon. That'll be coming, and we're supposed to be getting a big update on Yark on Steam here sometime very soon, potentially this month.
Oh,
so
nice.
Keep your eyes peeled for that.
I like the video game updates. We're doing a lot of video game work behind the scenes, so it's nice when something is ready to take out of the oven and show you guys. All right. Well, in that case, thank you everyone for chilling with us and having a good time and listening to us ramble on and make art. We'll be back on Monday. So stream ends in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.